Welcome back to Virtual Reality Game Dev Ed. This is the 8th tutorial video for our friend Sky on using MakeHuman in Blender. Okay. Now, a lot of people might like this model, and I actually want to borrow the clothes from this model to start making a basic design for my own clothes. However, I have Blender 2.62 and this is Blender 2.57. You know, I don't want to use Blender 2.57 when I have a much newer, updated version of Blender. So, the wonderful thing about Blender, it is pretty well backwards compatible. Now, I don't know, well, forward compatible. I don't know how backward compatible it would be. Meaning, if I were to save a file in Blender 2.62, I'm not exactly sure how well it would open in 2.57 here. However, I know as a fact if I save this file in 2.57, it will open perfectly in 2.62. So, all you have to do is literally just file, save as, go ahead and save that file. Now I've already saved it, so I'm going to go ahead and just cancel this. And once it's saved, close out. Open up your latest version of Blender, and then File, Open, and there it should be, right there for you. Okay, this is the one I had, so look at that. Look how nicely and easily that opened up. So that's why I have Blender 2.57 on my computer. I actually don't use it for anything except importing my MakeHuman models from the stable release and then saving them. Then I close the program, open up my latest version of Blender, and reopen my saved file. And there we go. Now I don't have to worry about the problems with importing a MakeHuman from the stable release. I just worked right around that. Okay. So, I went ahead and went over all of the armature, the difference in the armature here on this model already. So, what I want to get into in this tutorial is actually working more with the clothes. So just so I know where I'm going, make sure your sweater is selected. Hit Tab on your keyboard to jump into edit mode, and we will see a lot of points where it actually bleeds through on our model a bit. So you want to come down here, make sure your vertice mode is selected. Select one of these vertices. Literally just pull it out a little bit. We want to select a couple of these vertices to do this. So let's select this whole line here. Hold shift and right click these. And pull that whole little bit of the shirt out, just a little bit. Now one thing you notice is it did not do it to the other side. So I actually want to, first of all, Control Z to take back how I moved it. And now I want to do something called mirror editing. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Proportional editing. I want to enable it. First of all. Now this will move vertices that are linked and attached to this as well. Okay, now I still want mirror editing. Yeah, let me go ahead and select this little option too. Go ahead and auto merge any vertices that end up in the same place. We want a smooth fallout on our proportional editing. Mirror right here. We want to mirror on, we want to mirror it straight down the middle. We want to mirror along the X axis here. Go ahead and click interactive mirror. See how that does. Well, that's definitely not the one we want. We want to select the ones on both sides here, I believe. And then we want to mirror these on the x-axis. So let's go ahead and mirror them on X global. First thing we wanted to do, we're snapping to a grid. We definitely want to make sure that's unselected. Well, I'll have to figure that out for everybody. For right now, we're going to go ahead and just do this manually then. Pull that out just a slight bit, and you see how it affected the entire shirt there. That's not quite as smooth as we want it to be. So let's Control Z and just select a point there and see how that works. Yeah, that works nicely. We only need 1 point. Pull the shirts out, any point around that you see it bleeding through just a little bit. Another thing you can do, you can actually scale the whole shirt up a bit, make it a bit bigger, but I don't necessarily want to do that here. I just want to edit it just a little bit. Probably put that one out just a tad too far. This one up just a tad. And now we see we have fixed most of those points around here on our shirt where it was bleeding through, our skin mesh was bleeding through before. So that's good enough for me. Okay. Now, The next thing we're going to do is talk about color. Go back into object mode. Now that we have our shirt, oop, missed a couple spots on the bottom there, and a couple little spots on the back, it seems. So let's jump back into edit mode, hit tab on your keyboard, and pull these ones down just a tad. Okay, I'm going to select both of these points on the back and move them out just a tad. Okay. A to deselect everything. Looks pretty good. Make sure that's not a bleed through. Okay. Go back into object mode, hit tab on your keyboard. Alright. So now I'm going to talk about some of the modifiers and whatnot. We looked at a couple different things. We started to try to add a modifier to it and found out that we couldn't add the subdivision surface modifier because we have this modifier here that actually keeps it fairly restricted. It made it we changed the form of this mesh to join around our skin. So now that we have it already done, that's something we don't need to add again. It's already going to stick to our skin when we pose and move our model around. So that's a modifier here called armature, I believe. Yep. That will add this object to the armature that we already have and make it move with our model. So say we wanted to actually change our subdivision surface modifier a bit. We wanted to make it look, what the subdivision surface modifier does is it actually makes it look smooth like this, rather than when we jump into edit mode, we see we have a bunch of different points sticking out. However, when we look closely, those points aren't exactly how our mesh looks. It's pretty smooth. So what we would do if we wanted to change this and edit our subsurface modifier is we can we can remove the armature modifier first and then edit our subdivision surface modifier and then re-add the armature and attach it back to our model. But since that's already set up, these are things I'm not going to mess with right now. It comes set up like this, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this. These are two things you need on clothes, though. You definitely want the subdivision surface modifier to make it look smooth, and you have to have the armature to make it attached to the body. Okay, I'm out of time for this video, so I will see you all again soon, and we'll continue talking about clothes.